Hi, today we're going to talk a little bit about the Global Issues Activity Badge for the Beavers section. This is a lot to do with obviously global issues, mostly to do with the environment, but also things like fair trade and drinking water, sanitation, poverty, things like that really. I would say that despite the fact that the badge is quite specific with its requirements, I say that there's a lot of different global issues out there that aren't enumerated under the official requirements. And really, you can sort of use your own discretion as a leader as to what to cover on this. As long as it's raising awareness for some kind of global issue in a meaningful way, I'd say that you can give this one out. I wouldn't get too bogged down in specific requirements for this. Obviously, as we go through the different requirements, I'm going to give you thoughts and advice on how to link this into other activity badges, just sort of double up on what you've done. And also I will talk a little bit about how it links to the Chief Scouts Bronze Award. So first off, we have learn about ways to save energy or recycle. Decide on 3 ways your colony could do this. This is pretty simple and obvious. I would just say that this links quite easily in with the My World Challenge Award, which is a theme that you'll see me talk about a lot during this. The My World Challenge Award is obviously part of the Bronze Chief Scouts Award. Part of that is to do with helping the natural world around you and learning and completing activity to help your local community. So I'd say that clearly recycling helps your local community, and by doing this, you're helping the natural world around you and learning a bit about it. So you can tick off both those requirements here for the My World Challenge Award while you're doing this if you're clever. Obviously, you can save energy by turning off any lights in the meeting place once you leave. You can talk about separating things that could be recycled that you may have used and discarded during the course of any activities in the hut or the meeting place. There's a few other ones, obviously, that you can sort of figure out there too. Raising awareness of this to beavers at an early age is quite important. This is when you really build the moral of people. It's when they're young, the morality. So if people aren't made aware at a young age of real issues, it tends to be harder to really hammer them home. In terms of activity badges we can link this into, there's not really many out there. You could talk a little bit about money skills potentially, and the fact that essentially saving energy saves money. That'd be one way of linking it through. Additionally, you could mention something to do with fire hazards as part of this safety activity badge. How if you recycle incorrectly and people put, for example, hot items from kitchens into bins with paper in, like matches or whatever from lighting stoves, that can obviously be a fire hazard, things like that. Other than this, there's not too many things in terms of the other challenge awards to really mention. Down here we have essentially something to do with trying different kinds of fairly traded products and fair trade things. An obvious one would be bananas and fruit. Those are very easy to find in supermarkets as fair trade products. Coffee would be another one, but I would very highly recommend against giving coffee to young people. It's going to be they're going to be bouncing off the walls for the most part if you do that. But there are a number of different ones out there. Chocolate is another obvious one, although again, sugar-free chocolate might be a better shout. And it's worth mentioning that for the most part, fair trade products are of higher quality than non-fair trade products because the economics of it mean that if you cut corners, things cost more, and therefore you want to make a better product because you're already asking for more for that product, so you may as well make it a premium product, right? But you can actually bundle this in with, for example, um, the sort of the cook badge, activity badge, where you could actually go to a supermarket and buy ingredients for a cooking activity, and then sort of set the challenge of trying to find only fair trade products to make the food out of. That'd be a very easy one to do. Number 3 here, we have learn about endangering animals. Oh, sorry, endangered animals, not endangering animals, and transform your colony into endangered animals by making masks or costumes. How can we save them? And there's some examples here. I'd also say I think that leatherback turtles are one that is UK based, which I believe are endangered. And they're very, very cool. Huge, huge turtles, UK. Worth looking at. Also, I believe basking sharks are a UK endangered animal. They're harmless, very, very big, gentle giants, sharks. Um, so what this relates to mostly here is going to be, for example, your creative activity badge. Doing a performance with these masks or even just crafting them would count towards this. Beyond that, perhaps animal friend activity badge. If you talk a little bit about what the animal is, how they care for it, the habitat and exercise and sleeping areas they need to be happy, things of that nature for the most part. You could additionally think a little bit about the Chief Scouts Bronze Award here, the My Outdoors Challenge Award does have a part of it where you have to name, for example, different animals and fish, etc., near where you might live. This might be a very good way to tie it to endangered species that may be in your local habitat or could live in your local habitat. That's a very easy one. Obviously, again, this ties into the My World Challenge Award as well. If you think a little bit about how you can put or help put things in or help endangered animals in your local community, I think badgers maybe, I'm not sure if they're endangered, but they're certainly rare nowadays. So you can look up on by yourself there. Maybe you can think about ways to help voles or something. Voles are also, I believe, endangered. Or if you're by a coast or a stream or river, I'm sure there are various different types of fish in there that are also endangered in some way. If you do this in groups and have the different groups essentially do different animals and think about different animals, that would count towards a Teamwork Challenge Award too. Finally, the My Skills Challenge Award also counts because doing creative activities like this is a part of that too. So just with this, there's a large number of different things you can really count off from the same activity if you'd like. Number 4, talk about the problems some people have finding clean and safe drinking water. Make a water filter. You can solve water bottle, cotton wool, pebbles, kitchen roll. I'd say also charcoal is an obvious one. You can use sand too. Making a water filter that is functional requires a lot of layers, but if you just do a model of one and use clean water on both ends, that's fine. Sometimes in network scouting, we do actual water filters with actual like dirty water and show the results. But for beavers, certainly do not try that. Do not fall down that pitfall. Certainly, unless you want to risk assess it and think about the consequences of that, I definitely just make a example of a water filter rather than actually using it for anything. Perhaps you could make one and then run water through it, and you'll probably see a color change from brown to sort of clear, but it does not mean the water is safe to drink. So I would bear that in mind, have them wash their hands if they're handling dirty water from a river or stream or something like that. But talking about this and making this filter does count towards a number of different things. There is the Campcraft activity badge. Depending on how you set this thing up, it could count as a pioneering project if you sort of mount it on a bit of a holder. This would be very simple to make a holder for this kind of thing. Pretty much just 3 sticks embedded in the ground, and this bottle sort of lashed together at the top of those 3 sticks, would work, making a kind of teepee shape. That'd be a very easy one to do. Basically, using 1 or 2 knots, not anything really special to do. Although the campcraft, I think you should try and teach them something, maybe a reef knot or something a bit more important, which is actually one of the other requirements for that. So you have to do that regardless. I would mention as well that doing this kind of crafting in general, you could count that towards something like the creative activity badge, which does have an element of constructing something or creating a crafted item. I would count this as a construction personally, rather than a crafted item, because a crafted item is like a piece of card, and a constructed thing is something like that always has moving items. If you take a soft drink bottle that is going to be recycled or is recycled, this actually expands the award out quite a bit more. So we had, obviously fitting in here, learning a new skill. So learning to make a water filter is a new skill in my opinion, so that counts for the My Skills Challenge award. But if you use recycled materials in a craft, I believe it does count towards a different part of the My World Challenge award, if memory serves. That might be more focused on the squirrels section now I think about it than the beavers, but essentially by focusing a little bit on reusing recycled materials there, it's a good way of expanding this badge out to encompass the idea of reusing things, because there is of course a reason why reuse, reduce, recycle is in that order. And of course you can mention again money skills, how recycled items are usually cheaper. So if you're going to roll out this solution to the third world, or whatever you want to call sort of different parts of the world that may have dirty water, that using recycled materials as a construct base is better than using fresh ones. That's probably everything I can really link in for this global issues sort of activity badge here. Again, as always, if you do this in teams, then it can count for the Teamwork Challenge Award too. But beyond that, that's probably about it. So have a great day. Bye bye.